Sports Dynasty Podcast, the greatest podcast that you didn't want or ask for. And now introducing your hosts, Jake the Gluten-Free Karras and Peter Cheater Pigoo Hot Sizzle O'Donnell.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men who act like children of all ages, the Missouri Crime Society proudly presents to you the greatest podcast that you did not want or ask for, the Boy Ploy. Now that I've probably waken up some kids, let's talk. By the way, this little thing right here, this is because the elastic on my headband is stretched so far that when I had to tighten it past the point that the Velcro actually sticks. So I got to do this little loop-de-loop kabobber here so that it doesn't slap me in the head. Alright, so let's talk. Alright, we need to talk about some running back landing spots because after my last mock draft and we finished out the second round, it was just like, ooh, made me want to vomit in my mouth. And I was like, is it even possible that so few running backs hit fantasy relevant landing spots? Is that possible? Because I believe that was a 4-round mock. And that was just wild that, like, this is a deep running back class. It's not like an elite running back class, but it's deep. So I did a little bit of a deeper dive, and I looked up the teams that I believe are going to be likely picking up a running back in the NFL draft. Those teams include the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Buffalo Bills, the Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans, the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tennessee Titans, and Washington Commanders. And as you can see, that's 16 teams. Half the league is definitely going to be, probably more than half the league is going to be addressing the running back position, but half the league is going to be addressing the running back position with a chance for that person to have a fantasy-relevant role. Not a guarantee, a chance. So, settle down, all you Joe Mixon truthers. Just saying there's a chance. I know, New England Patriots is probably making Eddie maybe a little jumpy. Just a chance. Just a chance. All right. Let's jump into the 101. Let's jump into the NFL 101. Let's talk about the Panthers. I think the Panthers could use some running backs. However, the Panthers signed Sanders. I believe that the NFL does not see Miles Sanders as a workhorse, so I would expect that the Panthers, who have 4 picks between the 3rd round and the 5th round, they've got the 101, the 209, they have a late 3rd, a mid 4th, an early 5th, and a mid 5th. And that's it. That's all their picks. So I think that you see them, they've got too many holes for them to put one of those early 3 picks as running back. I fully expect that they would do if one of those picks is running back, I expect it to be a pass-catching back, or a back with a well-rounded skill set that can do pass-catching as well. Reason being, Miles Sanders has not been trusted in his time in Philadelphia with the pass-catching role. They tried it briefly, and it just, it didn't stick. And then they've been basically just cycling through guys for that pass-catching role. I'd be shocked if a between the tackles grinder goes with one of those picks, as I think the NFL believes that you can find those much more easily as undrafted free agents. So, that's the Panthers. I think if one of those backs goes in those, pass-catching back goes there, there's a chance that they have a fantasy-relevant role. It's not going to be a valuable one because the Panthers' offense is not looking good, but in a few years, who knows? So, looking at a 4th round pick if someone goes there. 4th round, of our rookie draft. All right, next up, Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have the 103, and the way I'm going to say this is 103, and the next one is 234. So it's 2 is the second round, 34 is the overall, overall pick. The 366, the 496, which is the first pick in the 4th round, the 4105, the 6168, the 6180, and the 7213. So, I think that the Arizona Cardinals are a very likely team to pick a running back here, unless they envision spending a first round or an early second round pick in the following year's draft on a running back. I think that they will be, because James Conner's contract is up at the end of the season, I think they're going to take a running back in the draft, and they're going to look to work him into the offense. They did not make any big free agent signings, so I fully anticipate the Cardinals to be addressing the running back with their picks. Now, what does that mean? I think that means we're looking at either they could shock the world and go with a running back with their early second, but I just don't think there's a running back that profiles as an early second. Like, Bijan won't be there. I fully anticipate that Bijan will not be an early second round pick. And after that, I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is really viewed as an early second down back by the NFL. I feel like he's more of a mid-second, kind of like that James Cook late second type of draft capital. Jahmyr Gibbs is a better prospect than James Cook, but the roles that they fill in the NFL will be similar. My old dog decided she needed to get up and go for a walk. You good, girl? She can't hear me. She's deaf. All right, we're probably going to have to listen to her drink water for the next 5 minutes. So I see them taking a running back likely with the 366, that early third, or kind of one of those 4th or 6th round picks. Now, if they go with a 6th round pick, I'm not going to be personally too excited, because that role is going to belong to, the valuable touches will belong to James Conner, and I would anticipate that 6th round pick is going to be replaced in the following year's draft or free agency. So, but I'd be interested I'd be very in on that early third, or either of those 4ths. They have 2 early 4ths. I'd be very excited if running back went with those picks. Falcons. I need to be less long-winded. 1 second. Come here, old coot. Here, this is my fluff monster. All right, go lay down. You're stinking up the show. I'm doing that enough on my own. Go on, lay down. They're all good spots. Just pick one. Thank you. All right. Once she's done catching her breath from walking across the room, we won't have to listen to her pant. So the Falcons, they have the 108, the 244, 375, 4110, 4113, 5, and a 7th. So they're kind of stacked in that 3 to 5 range, where those running backs, those less valuable running backs tend to go. Their third is an early third, though. So if a running back goes with their early third, I could see him taking valuable touches away from Tyler Algier. Anyone in that 4th to 5th, those definitely early in the season, those touches will be going Tyler's way. I would see them more expect to address the pass catching role than a second between the tackles grinder. I think that they're kind of more Tyler Algier spellback, the one that they're between the tackles, second between the tackles grinder, because that's what Algier is. I expect that to go with more of the 7th pick or the undrafted free agents afterwards. So I expect the pass catching back for Atlanta as what's his face is old as dirt. I think he's 33 years old. What is his name? Y'all are probably screaming it at me. Anyways, yeah, that old fart that plays running back for the Falcons. He's literally my age, which is wild. All right. He's 2 years younger than me. Whatever. He's my age. So, next up, we're going to talk about the Bills. I think they're in order of team name at this point, from this point on. So, the Buffalo Bills. Any running back that goes here is going to have decent competition for touches, with Damian Harris being an incumbent veteran. Well, not incumbent, but being a veteran, and James Cook. But because the offense, they're going to have an increased ceiling, and it's going to make people drool. I am less worried about Damian Harris than I am James Cook, because I think there's a decent chance that Damian Harris is just cooked. Well, pardon the pun. I think there's a good chance that Damian Harris is just like done. Like, his hamstrings tend to give out on him every year. And I'm more worried about Cook because I want those valuable passing touches to go to the rookie, not to Cook. So I don't think there's a 3-down role open for a running back in Buffalo. And because they have Cook, I don't expect that they're going to be going with, Gibbs. I don't think they're going to be going Gibbs with that 127. I don't think he'll be there by the time their second-round pick comes up, which leaves them like the one that would make people freak the fuck out is if someone like Zach Charbonnet went at the 259. With their late second-round pick, they went Zach Charbonnet. The dynasty community is going to lose their goddamn mind. That said, I would expect kind of a between the tackles type of guy to be going with the early, like one of their fifths or their seventh, possibly their third. But yeah, they clearly don't value the running back role in Buffalo, so I don't expect them to spend premium draft capital on a running back. Next up, Chicago Bears. The Bears have a ton of picks. They have 10 picks in this draft. They've got 1 first, 2 seconds, a third, a fourth, 3 fifths, and 2 sevenths. I personally believe that I think the Bears could take a running back with literally any one of those picks, and it could steal the starting role. I am very interested in the running back that gets drafted to the Chicago Bears because, like, the competition is an undrafted free agent. Like, the dynasty community's got the hots for him, but, like, there's no team investment. Remember James Robinson? He was amazing. You know what they did? Drafted Travis Etienne the next year. Undrafted free agents get no love in the NFL. Austin Eckler is the exception. So, like, with the 109, Bijan could go there to the Bears. It's a very real possibility. With their 2 late seconds, any number of running backs could go there. Well, I shouldn't say any number, but, you know, like some of the higher projected ones could go there. Ones that might shock would be something like Israel Abanikanda. Who are some of the other, like, more shocking possible? Where's the rookie running backs? Like Zach Charbonnet, Israel Abanikanda. I don't expect Zach Evans. Maybe a Chase Brown. Maybe a Kendre Miller. Maybe a Tajay Spears. Maybe a little sneaky Dwayne McBride. There's a bunch of guys that have NFL size. Deneric Prince is another really interesting name. There's a bunch of guys who are interesting, and any one of those that lands in the Bears, I'm probably going to grab if possible in the draft. The Bengals. If there's just a lot of smoke around Joe Mixon. I don't know if it's the dynasty community's wishful thinking, but there's a chance that Joe Mixon is not on the team by opening kickoff. In that case, any pick that the Bengals make is fascinating at running back because after Mixon, there's nobody. I mean nobody. So the Bengals are definitely addressing the running back in the draft. Is it going to be their first, second, or third round pick? Or is it going to be they have a first, second, third, a fifth, a sixth, and 2 seventh? Well, a seventh and a compensatory, technically like 8th round. All right, next up, Cowboys. Tony Pollard coming off a very badly broken leg. They've got a late first, late second, late third, early 5th, early 6th, late 7th, and a compensatory 7th. So any running back that goes to this offense is going to be interesting. I expect them to get a more between the tackles grinder as they have Tony Pollard. If they do that, I am very interested. Even if it's with a 5th round pick, I'm interested. That would be kind of the guy. That would be a kind of guy that is going to be a late 4th round or undrafted free agent that's going to be available for anyone in the league to pick up with their offseason fab. Whew, here we are. We've got quite a few teams to get through, but I really want to talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are fascinating. Isaiah Pacheco looked so good last year, and yet he's just a 7th round rookie pick. They could snag a Zach Charbonnet with the 263. They have their own first, their own second, I believe their own third. Then they have the 122, an early 5th, an early 6th, a mid 6th. They've got 10 picks, and they just won the Super Bowl. It's wild. An early 5th, early 6th, a mid 6th, a late 7th, 2 compensatory picks, rounding out their lineup here. So they're definitely going to be addressing running back with 10 picks. You can count on it. It's just a matter of, are they going to draft the Isaiah Pacheco replacement, the Clyde Edwards-Helaire replacement? And if that, I mean, the first, second, or third round, all those picks are inside the top 100, that means that it's a green light go if a running back goes with any of those first 3 picks. Next up, the Rams. Fascinating spot because Cam Akers looks like shit when he's on the field. The Rams have done everything they can to get rid of him. No one wanted him. He lost his job to Darrell Henderson on multiple occasions throughout his career. Couldn't get on the field as a rookie. Was in a 3-way timeshare with fucking Malcolm Brown. Cam Akers was in a timeshare with Malcolm Brown. He couldn't get the backfield away from Malcolm Brown. I think Cam Akers was overly hyped. I think his Achilles actually did more to save his career than it did to hurt it. Because if he had gotten a chance to play his second year, I think there's a very good chance that he gets exposed as a very mediocre, not good running back. That said, any running back that goes to the Rams is very interesting. However, they have a 2nd round pick, 2 thirds, and that's it until the 6th. They don't have a 4th. They don't have a 5th. They have 4 6th round picks, a 7th, and then a compensatory. Any running back that goes there, I'm very interested in because I believe that even an undrafted free agent has a chance to steal the job from Cam Akers on a Rams team that figures to be very bad. But Sean McVay, and that said, if Matthew Stafford isn't dog shit, comes back again, and maybe he's healed up from his elbow shit that was clearly bothering him during the year. Who knows? Sean McVay. Running backs are good, and I promise you, people will be saying these words: Sean McVay running backs, to any running back that gets selected with any of those picks. They're going to be hyping him up. Sean McVay running backs. Sean McVay running backs. Cam Akers sucks. Get ahead of the curve. Get ready to pounce. Dolphins. Everyone thinks the Dolphins are going running backs. I don't think the Dolphins are going to go running back. Here's why. They have 4 picks. 2 of them are 7th rounders. They lost their own 1st round because they decided to fuck around and find out with Tom Brady and coach of the Broncos. So they lost their 1st round pick. They didn't get Brady. They didn't get Peyton. Sean Payton, that's the head coach that I couldn't think of 2 seconds ago. They have the 251. They have the 384. Now, the Dolphins don't have a ton of holes in their roster, but they have enough holes that I don't think they're going running back with either of those 2 picks because they brought back their entire stable from the previous year again. They're going to be counting on those guys yet again. I don't think the Dolphins can afford to go running back with either of those 2 picks, with the 251 or the 384. I don't. Definitely going to be picking up some undrafted free agents. Those guys will definitely be interesting because the veterans there are pretty dusty. But yeah, Patriots. I think the Patriots are interesting because the Patriots do Patriot shit. Now, the incumbent, Ramondre Stevenson, he looks very good. That said, there is going to be a narrative that gets spun about how Bill Belichick just fucking has like bipolar. He's bipolar when it comes to his running backs. Like one day it's this guy, one day it's that guy. That narrative exists. People know that. And that's factored into Ramondre Stevenson's cost right now. The fact that it's slightly depressed is because of Bill Belichick's bipolarness with his running back room. They have 11 picks in the draft. None of the running backs they picked up last year looked like they were worth a fuck. Meaning, there's going to be more running backs picked up in this year's draft. And everyone's going to be saying, well, Ramondre Stevenson is on his third year. He's got one more year after this, and then the running back room is open. It's up for grabs again. And there's no guarantee. Ramondre Stevenson started to take over the role even while Dameon Pierce was on his rookie deal. So that would stand to reason halfway through. If the running back gets picked in like the fourth round here, talented running back, there's a lot of talented running backs that are going to go in the fourth round. If the running back goes in the fourth round to the Patriots, the narrative is going to play out like this. The rookie will slowly work his way in because Belichick hates rookies. Then the second year, it's going to be kind of a 50-50 time split, and then Ramondre Stevenson's role is going to get reduced, and this other rookie's role, or the sophomore's role, is going to get bigger and bigger. What happened, that's how the narrative's going to go. So the rookie running backs that get drafted to the Patriots, their value will be at an all-time low at this season, and it will be an ascending asset, I promise you. The value of that asset will ascend because Ramondre Stevenson's contract, everyone's going to see the parallels between Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson and whoever the rookie ends up with one of these 11 picks. Promise. Moving on. Eagles. Everyone says the Eagles are going to draft a running back, that they have to. I kind of concur. And the really spicy part is that they don't have much draft capital. They have 6 picks. And they have got 2 sevenths. A 7th and a compensatory 7th. And then they've got a first, the 110, a first, the 130, a second, the 262, and a third, the 394. All 3 of those are elite, well, not elite, but all 3 of those are great draft capital for running backs. 3 of them, frankly, are borderline elite draft capital. At this point, if you're drafting the second round as running back, that's elite draft capital. If you're drafted in the first round, that's God-tier draft capital. And if you're drafted in the third round, that's very solid draft capital, even the back end of the third. Moving on. Tampa Bay is another great landing spot for running back. They've got talented receivers there. Baker Mayfield's there. He knows how to hand the ball off really well. They've got the 119, the 250, the 382, 5th round, 3 6th rounds, and 2 7th round picks. 9 picks overall. They're definitely going to be grabbing a running back. Rashad White looks very juicy. I feel like there's enough holes that Tampa could potentially not spend one of their first 3 picks on a running back, which means the backfield would be Rashad White's unless some crazy 5th or 6th round pick comes out of nowhere and just yanks the job away from him. I don't foresee that happening. That's generally not how the NFL works. He could work himself into a timeshare by the end of the year, but certainly not. If it's not one of those first 3 picks, Rashad White is the man. Titans. I included them because there have been trade rumors of Derrick Henry because of how bad the Titans were last year. Now, a lot of that had to do with Ryan Tannehill losing his weapon into A.J. Brown and them just literally having no passing offense. Treylon Burks was injured all last year, yada yada. Y'all were there, you remember. You're actually doing okay on time. Alright, Titans. They have the 111. I would be shocked and appalled if Bijan Robinson goes to the Titans. I actually really like the landing spot because, Derrick Henry on his way out the door, they're a run-first offense. I wouldn't hate to see... I feel like the worst possible landing spot for Bijan would be to go to a place with a rushing quarterback, like the Eagles. Yes, the offense is high-powered, but I don't really want all of his touchdowns to get vultured by the quarterback. So, Ravens, it's a rough spot. Titans, and I didn't include the Ravens. Maybe I should have, because I just feel like J.K. Dobbins, 1 year coming off of that surgery, a full year. Anyways, Dobbins should be good to go by the start of the year next year. like fully healthy, like no limp running down the yeah. So they also have the 241, 372, 5, 147, a 6th round, and a compensatory 7th. So the Titans they only have 6 picks. That's not a ton of draft capital. Their team kind of sucks. They've got a lot of holes. Wide receiver is probably going to be one of those first 3 rounds. The 111 is also potentially a wide receiver there to pair with Treylon. Yeah, they need help on defense. They need help in the passing game. They need help at tight end. I personally don't see them going running back until like the 5th, if even, because they've got my boy Julius Chestnut. They've got Derrick Henry still, and they've got the kid out of Michigan, Hassan Haskins. Yeah, I'm not super interested in a running back that goes to the Titans unless it goes with one of those first 3 picks. Then I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of draft capital to spend on a guy to just sit behind Derrick Henry. What's the plan here? I'm very interested at that point. Commanders. Last on the list. Y'all made it. Whew. I'm going to take a breath. Oh, flash the guns, baby. All right. Washington Commanders are interesting because they already have 2 running backs. Antonio Gibson, who is on the decline. And they've also got Brian Robinson. You think they're all set at running back, right? Well, we'll see. Commanders are a notoriously poorly run organization. Dan Snyder, thank you so much. They have 8 picks, starting with the 116, the 247, the 397. So you've got 3 picks in the top 100. That's great. The 4, 118. That's also pretty good. Damian Pierce went around that range last year. The 4, 118. The 5, 150. Getting less interesting. 7th, and a compensatory 7th. So if a running back goes in those first 5 rounds, I'm very interested. I don't think it's going in the first. I don't think it's going in the second. But I could definitely see a 3rd round running back going there because Antonio Gibson will be on his way out the door once his rookie deal ends. The coaches clearly do not like him. Brian Robinson is not an explosive back. It's not a playmaker. It's not really a pass catcher. Antonio Gibson isn't really a pass catcher. J.D. McKissick left. I'm pretty sure J.D. McKissick left. Shit, let me check that. Yes, they released him. So yeah, I don't believe, what is, Terry? What? Oh. How the hell do you spell Terry McLaurin? I don't know, I'm pretty sure I know how to spell his last name. Maybe I don't. What the hell's going on here? Terry McLaurin. What the hell? Terry, where are you? Well, that would be the problem. I'm looking under running backs, you dumb shit. Yeah, they don't have anyone. They've got Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Jonathan Williams. And Jonathan Williams, yeah. So, they're definitely going to be grabbing a running back with one of these picks. Is it in a timeshare with Brian Robinson or not? I think this is going to be one of those things where even if the running back gets the 3rd round, that 397, it's going to be a repeat, but even worse, of the narrative that Brian Robinson had, where it's like, oh, that's a bad offense. Oh, it's a timeshare. Antonio Gibson's there. Oh, he's not a very good prospect. Oh. And then Brian Robinson comes out and like, oh, shit, this guy's scoring fantasy points. I feel like if another running back goes with that 3rd round pick to the Commanders with top 100 draft capital, that means Antonio Gibson out of here, special teams, spell back, you're going to be a gadget player for in this offense. And that will be the guy who inherits the timeshare with Brian Robinson. Probably more of a pass-catching role. If they go with a pass-catching role, it would probably be Jahmyr Gibbs with the 247, or one of the, like a Devin A-Chain with the 397. Devin A-Chain would fit this offense very nicely. Not for fantasy, not fantasy-wise, but NFL speaking. Pass-catching back to the Commanders makes a lot of sense. All right. So those are my teams where, kind of like those mid-round draft capital, like the Dameon Pierces, could definitely come up from one of those teams. Again, that is the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Bills, the Panthers, the Bears, the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Eagles, the Bucks, the Titans, the Commanders. 16 teams that have the potential of a massive breakout with a mid-round running back. Guys, that's all I have for you. I will see y'all in the next one. I hope this entertained you a little bit during your day. If you like to sit and listen to podcasts, think about fantasy while you're working or should be working, like Jaboy likes to do, then I hope it brought a little bit of joy to your day. I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.